I think that from what I've learned, and the success is built over time. It's stair step. It's not instant. So the success is, don't look at the things that don't work, that you have little failures or little false beginnings, false starts. And just every little part is a success. Don't look at it like you set the goals that's a year to 2 years out, and then 3 months in, something happens, something falls apart. You really got to measure the success by the little wins that you have, and then overall. And it will change. The definition of your success may change.
Blano, thank you for taking the time to be on today's episode of the Upland Players Podcast. It's great. It's always great to connect with you, but welcome.
Hey, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, so you're working with Uplandia. Uplandia. I think it's a natural fit, right? There it is. What is, for a player that's never heard of Uplandia before, what is it and how does it tie into Upland?
It is the concept of Noise to Meet You, who was a legacy player that wanted to bring in an RPG fantasy game that was text and graphical based into Upland as a layer 2 project. And ultimately that is what it is. Think of Dungeons and Dragons. Think of every type of that very early on gameplay that you are going to experience in Uplandia. The great part about it is you can leverage assets in Upland that you already own for use in Uplandia. It is a adventuring game. You're in a fantasy world, and we really are crafting the story. It's not so much about going in and hacking and slashing on your friends. You're really working in this entire realm to improve your overall standing in the game and how you progress as an adventurer. The part about Uplandia that I really like, and Noise to Meet You has been incredibly receptive to this, is there is a early adopter program for players. And what that equates to is we have taken on applications for players that have nodes that they want a full expansion with, or just players that want to have a couple of quests or a single ask and retrieve type of quest in the game. So that is open and available. And that is really what it is. Layer 2 fantasy-based RPG that involves the players of Upland and allows them gives them the opportunity to work with us in collaboration so that they can have their story told, like Sir David's story, who famously died during a training incident.
Yes, I am proud of that. I'm proud of that quest line that's coming. I'm proud of the statue that's in. I'm immortalized in Uplandia, perhaps for the wrong reason. I'm the only person to have died during training. To clarify the record, I may suck that bad, but also I was like doing it during meetings, and I stepped away and I came back and was like, oh shoot, I'm dead.
It's one of my favorite storylines is there. I can't wait for everybody to experience and reading it. There is a commemorative statue for Sir David.
Yeah, I love it. So if I'm a player and you mentioned like connecting nodes or working with you, how does it? I'm a node, I have a neighborhood, I have a community. How is it connected to Upland? Is it my properties are connected, my houses are connected? How exactly does that work? And why should I as a community want to be connected to Uplandia?
It is that which has always been players' request to have that utility, which is interesting because from the beginning of the game, you buy a property, you get upix in return. That's a utility or mechanic that's in the game. So this is expanding upon that idea and offering that utility in a layer 2 game that is attached directly to Upland. You go in, you click the 3 dots, settings, third-party apps. There's a code that you can put in there. You register through these different projects in layer 2, like Uplandia, and then you're connected. Your assets show up on or in the game. And then as we continue to progress, you're able to use the properties first to build farms and homes, and now block explorers that are a boost to your stats in the game continually. And so all you got to do is direct messages, reach out to us, and we've got amazing players. More Cheese Bronxdale's next. Creedmoor Shacklin. We've got Zoe Wedgecloud that's doing an amazing quest for Lasher. And then we got TMS, who's got his Chicago, and more. It's all unveiling, and it's all coming. And they have worked so hard, David. It's great. And I appreciate the team for working with us on the Block Explorer. So that's really how it all puts together.
What is your definition, Uplando, of success in Upland?
Wow. I think that from what I've learned, and the success is built over time. It's stair-stepped. It's not instant. So the success is, don't look at the things that don't work, that you have little failures or little false beginnings, false starts. And just every little part is a success. Don't look at it like you set the goals that's a year to 2 years out, and then 3 months in, something happens, something falls apart. You really got to measure the success by the little wins that you have, and then overall. And it will change. The definition of your success may change.
Yeah. So what is your current definition of success for you look like?
I'll tell you, it is evolving to multiple streams of revenue in Upland, projects that I'm working on that provide me a juice worth the squeeze is really what it is.
Very cool. Do you mind if I ask you what those multiple streams are at the moment for you?
I have refined how I look at entering partnerships. It's a very interesting process to get to know people. This is a world game. You're talking with people across the world and getting to know them, their culture, how they do business, and how you work with one another. So right now I'm working with Noise to Meet You and Uplandia. I'm working with Kiki over at House of Spark. And I have one other project that's kind of bubbling up. So when I'm ready to, that will unveil itself. But all those are services or entertainment that are riding on what Upland has already provided as a platform.
Very cool. And how do you come across these projects? How do you connect with people to partner on these different types of projects?
Because I've been around a little while, I started my Upland gameplay in November 25th of 2020. So that, in learning that there was a Discord, there was a Telegram, there were other means of communication that allowed me to now have vetted, for lack of a better word, or seen the progression of other players. And as soon as they started something up, I would go in, take a look at it, refine it. I would use their services or play their game, and then determine whether I had a value to bring to the team, and then start the communication that way.
Very cool. And are most people pretty receptive when you reach out to them? Because that's something, I think people, it's scary. It's scary to put yourself out there, right? So how do you find that? Are people usually pretty receptive to you? Is there a strategy that you use? Like you comment in their Discord or on their channels or something, and then you reach out, or you just cold reach out to them?
As you described, going over to the Discord, getting to know who's there, seeing the people that are active in the project, and understanding if there is a team and how the team structure works, just by viewing, just by looking, always kind of going in and getting a lay of the land. And then if I really feel that I'm ready to present any kind of contact, I direct message somebody. And if you have the demeanor and the decorum that's welcoming and inviting, I think that people will be very receptive to that. And they'll let you know what they are looking for in terms of somebody with a skill set that they don't have at the time, or what they may ask of you to do.
So I would love to hear how the start of, for those that don't know, if you're new to Upland, Uplando really, I think, became a household name. I know on the Upland side, like you did with the Upland Cafe in Discord. Let's go in the Wayback Machine. I'd love to hear how that got started for you and how you were able to grow that to the success that it was.
It would start even one little step back and getting into the game and not understanding what Ascend is, being completely unfamiliar with the mechanics of the game, but wanting to learn. And then there is something that is ingrained in me to try and put that into some kind of concise, which I'm not always, but messaging, or a tome is what I called it, and then offer that up free. And like many start over new players in Discord, and help as much as I can. And there had been groups, the UDU, that was created, that was basically coining the term node, gathering people to go mint an area. We would sit in a Zoom and talk and chat. Scooby and myself were tossing around the idea, wow, wouldn't this be great if we could just open this up in the Upland Discord? Went over, started dropping messages in. Mort goes in, boom, opens up the Upland Cafe, and they go, there you go, talk away. And that's how it started. And then it organically began to process. And then I started going in and started doing a show, then recording. And it was a progression. I thought, you don't become a professional overnight. You have to start somewhere. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there, do your homework, and grow into your style. And that's how it started. And with support of Upland and others contributing, the Goldsmith who runs it now, that's where it was. And that's the legacy of it.
Very cool. What lessons did you learn from doing the Upland Cafe show, or the Uplando show rather, in the Upland Cafe?
Production value and style is your own. Make it that way. And always try to help, kind and courteous. You really have to have that demeanor that even though some people are going to come in and may want to be on the negative train, or they have questions, a lot of times they really do want help. They just don't know how to ask for it. So when you help them, I notice that their tone changes. So just do that, and what I had done is just go in there with a stated, goal and just keep that repetitiveness of that, and it will shine.
Yeah. Repetitiveness, consistency, I think is huge as well there, but very, very good. So now you're in layer 2. It sounds like layer 2 is really becoming, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but you talked about multiple streams of revenue. Is layer 2 for you a mainstream creating on layer 2 on Upland? Or is Upland, the foundation, property trading, stuff like that, still your main stream of revenue?
It has changed. My gameplay has evolved massively. So I started in an area when I started. Upland was in Fresno. I still have my 3 original mints that I did there. And I saw an opportunity for that area. There is then, instead of minting, I think I heard over there with You Too Stupid to Wait, like, I'm going to mint the whole street, the whole block, and I'll be king of the world.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. My strategy now is to be very specific about what areas I go into. I'm always thinking about the future of what those properties I can leverage in to use that. So really, the streams of revenue are base offerings from Upland, Meta Ventures, and then the UDN as the development network, working into a little bit more, a higher skill set, and learning that as I go along, and then putting that all together. It's leveraging everything.
Yeah. Now, are you a technical person? What is your skill set?
I know enough to just be able to put the different players that have skill sets that are many levels above mine to be able to pair and put people together that then can have those conversations or talk in the acronym speak and be able to produce what it is that their concept and their goal and their vision is. My job then is to take that information and put in the outward presence in the form of promotional material, marketing, graphics, getting excitement of it, but also following through and doing everything we can to follow through and make good on what we promise.
Yeah. So for players out there that may not, they want to get involved in developing something on top of Upland, but they don't have the technical skills, you would be a great example, I think, of someone, of a path forward for someone like that.
Yeah. And the thing of it is, this is the best part about it. You get started in these projects and people, aspire to wherever you want to go, but if starting at the top, it's really tough to be a leader. And one of the things that I always encourage people to do is go over to a project, get in their Discord or wherever they're, all congregating, and then start at an entry level. The best businessmen and women are those who started sweeping the floors and now they're running the shop. So you've got to take those little steps, and it may seem that your contribution, you may feel it being very minimal, but in reality, it takes all that. And as you progress up the steps to when you become the leader, now you know every position, you know what is required, and then you can be more effective. So start. It's okay to start at an entry level and gather information and educate yourself, and then really make a go of it.
Yeah, well said. Get involved, I think is.
Get involved.
Yeah, that's exactly, fun fact, that's how I got into the gaming industry. I was not working anywhere close to adjacent to the gaming industry. And I started my own podcast, and I did it for years consistently about the Xbox, had some success. We were able to have the head of Xbox on. We were able to have, different famous journalists and composers and stuff that come on our show, until one day I was able to jump into the gaming space, and a few years later, eventually end up here at Upland. But just to your point, just do it. Just start something. Just get involved. You learn while you go.
Yeah, I think the approachability, some people may find that it's difficult to approach Upland with ideas. However, once you get to know the staff, the employees, then it becomes a much easier and a much more approachable task to do that. And they're very willing and open to listen to what you have to say, but really be prepared. That's the one thing I would say for anybody, is to have that preparedness.
Yeah. When approaching Upland with different ideas, you're saying?
Yeah. And I want to just put that out there as my first attempt to bring a licensable partner to Upland went great. It took months and months and months, and we were there at the finish line. We were ready to go over and make that happen. But things don't always go exactly as planned, and at the 11th hour, things can fall through. But it's what you learn throughout doing that is the takeaway, even if it doesn't happen. So you got to just keep trying, and don't pin all your hopes on one thing. Continue to progress. It's been everything that we've done with Uplandia, and working, David, with you, and refining and putting that out there, and having you put notes back into what we were doing. That was incredibly helpful and greatly appreciated.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So let's talk about that. So we just finished the Tokyo quests. This was historic. I think this was the Genesis Layer 2 projects quests, where you could earn block explorers, and those block explorers have immediate utility inside of a Layer 2 experience with both yourself and Upland Kingdoms, Uplandia and Upland Kingdoms. What was that like from start to end? What was it like, and what does it do for your vision going forward? Has it increased? Has it changed? Has it shifted? Where are you at with that?
Starting from just prior to Genesis Week, going in the innovation track, having that influx of capital from the wind to then determine how we were going to move forward. The conversation started there at Genesis Week. If you're going to participate, that's one of the benefits of being live, boots on the ground. And then taking that and having those conversations ongoing. The thing that we learned about that is that players want story, and they want to get involved. And so that's how we crafted it. It was a lot of work. Be prepared to do a lot of work, and putting ourselves out there for Upland to then review the material and work with them. The Block Explorer with the utility is an epic step forward. It really does bring that value to assets in Upland, and we have so much more planned. That Samurai Mask is a part of a set of armor, so incrementally there will be more and more. That has to do with any of the assets in Upland that you can bring over in Uplandia to leverage those 4 stats and boost.
Yeah, no, very, very exciting. So where do you see the future of Uplandia in Upland?
I would love to see it in the game or part of the super app. That would be an amazing experience, so that it's an ease of use and it's right there. I think that would be a very, very cool, seamless way to progress.
Let's talk Genesis Week. We've had 2 in person. You've been to both, and you did mention like being in person, networking in person. What's your experience been like at both Genesis Week? And I would actually be curious, what are your thoughts from Genesis Week 1 to Genesis Week 2 Was there an improvement? Did it get better, worse? What you like, what you didn't like? Give it to me. Give me everything Genesis Week.
The food. The food. Oh my gosh. We went from a bag lunch to an absolute spread, and I loved it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, the food was delicious this weekend.
It'll be funny. The team will be like, they just focused on the food. But that was fantastic. Look, it takes so much to put that together, and I see progression for people who go to Genesis Week. It's an opportunity to network. It's a lot of fun. There are outside activities that go on, and you can go and hang out with each other. But the takeaways from that were, I loved how the Genesis Week, the hackathon, had multiple levels of for the winners on that, and the booths were amazing. I liked that they had open panels for the players and having people moderate those panels, and then being able to talk to the team. That was the value. And I think last year people were so apprehensive to go up and introduce themselves and talk to one another. Next year, I'm telling you, go talk to a Lindsay, a Kelly, a David, go talk to Dirk and Edan, and talk to all those people, Danny and Jennifer. Talk to them and get to know them. Lisette, Squall, they're there, and they want to interact. I think once you're able to break the ice and go in and have a civil conversation with them, you'll find that they really, really want to help, and they're there to do as much as they can. I felt a little apprehension because we've had so much build up, but really the people that are there want to be there.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you could see that. I know we see it and feel it. And when you're able to meet people in person, it takes it to this next level. And Upland is so community based. I think Web3 is so community based and community centric. And that's where we're going. And so this is only going to continue to evolve. I think you saw it evolve from year 1 to year 2, where the community really started to take over Genesis Week, this in person anyways, this last year. I think we'll just see that continue to go there. You got to present the hackathon presentation. What was that like?
That was nerve-wracking. It's I say it that way because you're standing in front of people. That's what you're doing. Anybody that's going to present and that's going to stand up there and do that, I encourage you, when you get to Genesis Week and you're going to present, there is a period of time where you can go and walk up on that stage. And it was great that you guys let us do that, because it gives you that you when you walk up there, there's all these faces looking at you, and they're listening to what you're saying. And so you are put on the spot. So definitely get up there, get a lay of the land, get yourself acclimated, know where you're standing, understand what's going on, and have confidence in yourself, what you're presenting and what you're doing. That, and just, again, meet people beforehand so you see friendly faces out there, so nobody's a stranger.
One piece of advice. You could only give one piece of advice, and that player, a new player, can only follow that one piece of advice to have success in Upland. What is that piece of advice?
I'm going to go back to one that's a staple. Treat others as you wish to be treated. And I think that foundational piece of advice will open the door to you saying, make the most dividends, learn the guides that players are, go over to the Discord. Really, if you have a mutual respect and can put that across in a real genuine manner, you're going to do very well.
And how would you describe yourself as a player if you had to give yourself a title?
Oh, man. That's a really great question. Ultimately, I want to help. I think just I want to be a member of the community in good standing. I think that's the best way that I could put it.
Yeah, a helper, then. We'll say a helper.
Sure.
And so how do you monetize help in Upland? How do you have success? I mean, it's obvious from a part of the community standpoint, but for someone watching this that's like, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to have success in Upland. I want to build something. How does the helper tag do that for you?
It starts at that level because that's what everyone needs. I think it just is being a human being. Everybody needs a little help along the way. You may have done something repetitively 200 times and somebody asks you that question again. You're like, oh, if that's the way that you approach it, that's the way that they will initially take it, because players are apprehensive to ask you because they don't want to feel that, oh my God, I don't want to ask this because I don't want to, I'm so scared at what the answer will be. I'm new and I it's that apprehension. Help those players and have others that you bring on to help out with what you're doing. Be inspirational, and players will follow that. They will learn, give them an opportunity. I think that's a good path.
Where do you see Upland in 5 years?
Wow, that's a great question as well. I think the evolvement will be a steady, incremental evolvement to where we recognize Upland, but I think that there's something in there in the next 5 years that really takes it to that next level where you're like, whoa, I'm looking at something brand spanking new that I didn't realize was coming. I'll give you a very just kind of simple example of that is the map you've always looked at is flat. It's a beautiful globe. And that is just amazing to look at. That little adjustment meant so much to us. So I think those incremental little adjustments will really give way to a very, very cool, sustainable platform that is what Upland has proven itself to be.
Where is Uplando in the next 5 years?
I think that a progression to those streams of revenue, to be in those projects and have good, successful projects, to then, as I've done with other players and just helping them find sends and understand how to get UPX here and where to click and where to go, that would now evolve into the UDN, and players understand, well, how do I do this? I don't understand the registration. I don't understand code. What's PHP? What's this? What's that? Once you start working with team members, amazing team members like Marco and Carlos that are on that side of the house, just like other members of Upland, you get to understand where you can, close the gap and help people to understand that, thus bringing more people in. That will return dividends in the relationships that you are creating as you go along. So hopefully that will be where it is.
Yeah. You've mentioned multiple streams of revenue a few times. I think clearly that's the main part. I mean, you've said it, the main part of your success strategy here. But for a brand new player, how do they start with creating multiple streams of revenue inside of Upland?
It starts with those MetaVenture applications, and it starts with looking at what those MetaVentures boil down to. You need to leverage a skill set that you have that would otherwise allow you to make the most of that MetaVenture. For me, when it first came open to beta, it was Block Explorer versus the map assets, because I didn't have the skill sets to be able to create in Blender. So that's the path I took. And now as it progresses forward, it's really about learning what it is that Upland is offering. It's not just about applying and getting approved. There has to be a plan in place for you to progress into actually making a stream of revenue for that. So play to your strengths, look for people that can help you out. And then once you get one underway, consistency, but know what your input in and what your input out is. So you can evolve and really leverage what Upland is bringing, which is amazing that it is that way. I mean, you literally have the ability to work your way through a stream of revenue, a business through Upland that again, if you look at your skill set that you can leverage and use, that's an enjoyable time while you're bringing in that UPX or that USD.
And finally, let's close on this. I know you're working with Uplandia. What is upcoming? What can players look forward to? Is there anything currently happening that players should be aware of?
We just closed out today on the Block Explorers. completing the quests, the Son of Samurai quest, which told a great story about a father and a child. And you're going to see much more from Takashi's child. So get ready for that. In the immediate future, what we have is a building contest. So whereas Queens Fresh Meadows was the only properties that were available in the game for Uplandians to use as a leverage to build their structures, their farms on. Now you can use any property in Japan. And so there is a building contest. It's underway starting the 19th, and that's creating those farms, which will be in Japan. You can farm rice. You can put a house on there. You can have new recipes in the cooking station with those and add different things together for different boosts. But that's going to be it. And we're giving away UPIX. So it's over 100,000 UPIX for those players that are going to build. And because you're going to be building in Japan, most likely if you're in the game, gives you a little something incentive to do so.
Well, Uplando, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for sitting down and talking. I will give you the last word. What do you want to leave us with?
It is, I'll tell you this. I don't know if you know this, David, but Bitcoin is dead. Did you know that? It's they've been, it's been dying, right? Anyone who says that Upland is dead, the people who are writing these articles that say they're dead, it's very interesting because they keep mentioning Upland. So Upland must be doing something right. And that's the thing. Your contribution, the community's contribution, how this has been set up, it has been going and going, and there is long-term longevity in this project. If you look back, and I've been to a lot of the NFT conventions, and again, I've seen projects come and go. Upland has been there. I found it through CryptoKitties, and it just continues to go and go and go. So if you believe in the project, contribute to the project and do it with some grace, some style, and have fun.
Well said. Thank you very much. If you haven't yet, guys, if you enjoy what we're doing with this show, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. I will be dropping a link in the description here to all things Uplandia and Uplando. So look for those links in the description. Also, who should we talk to next? Let us know in the comments below. And have a great rest of your day, guys, and I'll see you next time.